At this time of year, Europe's beaches, museums and piazzas would be starting to fill up. Bars and restaurants would be gearing up to their busiest and most lucrative period. But this year, holidays are on hold. International travellers from outside the EU have been barred. Even EU residents have been unable to travel to neighbouring countries. The European Commission has unveiled plans on how it aims to reboot Europe's embattled travel sector.
This is the first fundamental principles of the packages that we present today. Safety. That underlies our guidance. And that means taking gradual, careful steps to help travel restart in line with what science tells us.
The World Tourism Organization expects losses of 280 to 420 billion euros for the industry this year. With the EU pushing for a reboot, it's unveiled a two-step approach to reopening borders for countries facing similar risk. Europe's Disease Control Agency will be drafted in to monitor areas with low circulation of the virus, dubbed green zones. Travellers within these zones could move freely, provided social distancing measures are followed. This way, blanket quarantine measures can be scrapped. The second phase would see normal travel within the Schengen zone, which allows border-free travel between the majority of EU countries. But there's great uncertainty about when these plans could be put in place.
I think the policy of having travel bubbles within the European Union is probably quite legitimate and a reasonable way to start up travel. I think every country is saying we'll begin with local travel, then regional, and then international travel. People are a lot more tentative about.
Some regional agreements have already been made. Several Baltic countries in the east of the bloc are forming a travel cluster, which would allow freedom of movement between countries like Latvia and Estonia, which have largely been so far unaffected by COVID-19. And the UK and France have agreed a deal to allow freedom of movement without a mandatory 14-day quarantine. The EU desperately wants to revive the upcoming peak holiday season worth some 150 billion euros as the bloc faces its deepest ever recession. But it will be months before normal travel resumes, a severe blow for countries in the south of the bloc like Italy, Spain and Greece, which are heavily dependent on tourism. Lucy Hoff, CGTN, Brussels.